Hi there, it's Chiyo here from iHeartUmami.com. Welcome to my paleo cooking channel. This week, I'm sharing with you my mom's beef stew recipe that's perfect for the fall weather. And I'm going to share with you a faster and shorter way to cut the cooking time by half using Instant Pot. And before I forget to mention it, if you like my video, please give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel below. I'll be sharing new Asian-inspired paleo recipes here with you every single Thursday. So without further ado, let's make a shortcut to my mom's beef stew. Let's quickly look over our beef stew ingredients. So, in order to create a beautiful beef stew, you need to have some aromatic base, right? So to make your meat very savory, and then the broth, the stew, is just everything melts together. So, as you can see, I have roughly chopped some garlic cloves here. It's about 3 to 4 garlic cloves, and about 1 medium to large size of white onion. It just kind of roughly chopped them as well, and about 1 inch of ginger. So also roughly chopped them. And also 1 red chili pepper. This is just a California Fresno chili pepper, and I removed the seeds. And of course, 2 pounds of very, very gorgeous beef short ribs. This is a boneless one. If you cannot find a boneless short ribs, if that comes with bones, it's absolutely fine. Since we're going to make a stew, your broth might taste even better, with the bone inside. Just remove the bones before you serve, and that will be perfect. Okay, so I also roughly chopped them to, you can see, chunks. Okay, so since we're going to use pressure cookers, it will be done very, very quickly, and you want them to be tender, soft. So we want to slice them to smaller chunks. And to sweeten the deal a little bit, to sweeten our stew a little bit, traditionally people will use added sugar. So, but I found that, just in order not to tip the balance of the stew, right? Because you want to inject a little sweetness to your stew without completely just taste like all savory ingredients. So I am going to use 2 little dates, and these are without pits. So these are just pure dates, and 1 little cinnamon clove. Okay, to give a little authentic taste. And as you can see, I have tons of mushrooms going on here. So, you can select any type of mushrooms you want. Just select the ones that probably has a more woody flavor. And I have a portobello mushrooms here, and this is just a Japanese mushroom. You can also use shiitake, by the way. I think I might add some shiitake mushroom inside. Just, give some really, really authentic, beautiful smell. And vegetables. 3 to 4 carrots, roughly chopped into actually pretty big slices. Why? Because, once it's out of pressure cookers, your vegetables are going to turn actually pretty soft, a little mushy. So if you chop them too fine, they're just gonna melt into everything else. So if you want to have a little texture, you can bite into it, slice into larger chunks. And about 3 medium tomatoes, just to give a little citrusy, and more vegetables into our beef stew. And we're going to use about 2 cups of beef broth. This is just organic beef broth. And to flavor our broth, just going to use about 1/3 cup of coconut aminos. And one little last thing I forgot to mention it, is to add a little 5 spice powder. So this is just a little shortcut. So 5 spice powder is cinnamon, fennel, clove, star anise, and white pepper. So traditionally, my mom would add star anise into her beef stew, but since I want to make sure most of my audience are living in the United States and in the Western, world, or in Europe or Australia, I want to make sure that people can find star anise. So if you cannot find them, it's fine. We can use just 5 spice powders. Probably easier for you to access this type of spice as well. So let's put everything together in the Instant Pot. I'll be right back. So step 2, let's saute our aromatics, okay? So if you can see from my side camera here, I am just going to press the saute button. And then let's just wait until it gets a little bit hot. And then in order to saute our aromatics, I'm going to add about 1 tablespoon of coconut oil. See, it's making sound here. Letting me know it's heating up. So it should heat up very, very quickly, okay? All right, now you can see, it's getting hot. You can see a little smoke coming out here. Can you see it? That means it's hot, it's ready, and then we're gonna use this right temperature to saute our aromatics, okay? So, garlic here. Aha, hear the sizzling sound? That means the temperature is right. And chopped ginger and also 1 cinnamon stick. There's our red chili pepper. And our onion. Just going to stir them. You want to keep stirring them so they don't get overburned, okay? So you want to keep doing that. Season was a little bit soft, just to bring out the flavor a little bit. So you want to break up the onions a little bit. Keep stirring it. So I'm gonna keep stirring it, okay, until the onion turns a little translucent. And just be careful, you don't want to burn your aromatic ingredient. And then we're going to add the beef. Now the onion has turned a little bit softer, I am going to add in our beef. And we're just going to slightly brown the meat a little bit before adding our rest of our ingredients like our beef broth and the coconut aminos, okay? So I'm just going to keep stirring it. So if you can see from my side camera, the beef, it had slightly browned. Now I'm just going to add in other ingredients. It gets really smoky here. Okay, I'm going to add in carrots. Let's put them in. Dumpling. See, I told you it's very, very quick and fast. And also our tomatoes. I really love tomatoes. It's so good for you. And beef broth. So since this is not a soup, in a soup I will put way more broth, right? So this is only just a stew. So I'm going to add 2 cups of beef broth. I am going to add 1/3 cup of coconut aminos. You can find them on Amazon. Sometimes people ask me where to find them. It's cheaper compared to my local grocery store. It's 1/3 cup coconut aminos. It's gonna taste really good. And I am going to add in portobello mushroom. This is about 3 cups of portobello mushroom. You can also use 2. I just love mushrooms. Beef and mushroom stew. You can't go wrong. Add as many mushrooms as you want. So some Japanese mushrooms. You can also add shiitake mushroom. They are really good too. All right, and the final last thing, little 5 spice powder because I have star anise inside. I'm just going to use about 1 teaspoon. All right, and then I'm just going to close the lid, adjust the button. I'm going to adjust the button from sauteing to stew. So I actually forgot to add in 2 dates. So I'm gonna drop them in just to make it a little bit sweeter. So now, before I close the lid and make sure I already turn them into a seal position, just for those of you who are not quite sure what this is, just you want to seal them, okay? Not a venting one. Under high pressure, you need to seal them. Okay, and then I'm going to adjust from my side panel here. You can see I'm going to turn the saute off. And then, since this is a meat stew, I'm going to select meat stew and adjust to 40 minutes just to make sure. And it's under normal. And then I'm just going to close the lid. And it's in seal position. And that's it. Just press meat stew and adjust the time to 40 minutes and it's in seal position, and then you close and lock the lid. That's it. And I see you in 40 minutes, after 40 minutes, and then to enjoy this beautiful, my mom's beef stew, okay? Okay, so after a quick 35 to 40 minutes under high pressure cooking, and so I let the pot actually depressurize itself instead of doing a quick release. Part of the reason is because that for beef stew, my personal finding is that if you do a quick release, sometimes because that the depressurize in a very quick manner, sometimes, you know, in the process, it makes the meat taste more rough, more chewy. So I would rather just let it depressurize itself. And so it depends on the time of the year and also your room temperature. If it's really cold in your place, like my apartment tends to get really cold in the winter, it takes about half an hour to completely depressurize it. So you want to calculate the time a little bit well. But once it's done, you know what, you have this entire full pot, 6, you know, it's good enough for probably 6 servings or even more. You know, you can enjoy it for the rest of the several days. So let's open that. And be careful, you have some liquid here. We're gonna set aside. It smells so good. And we're going to season it with a little bit of salt, okay? So this completely depends on your personal preference. I would start from 1 teaspoon of sea salt first, and then mix it a little bit and taste it and see if another half teaspoon or 1 more teaspoon is needed. So it completely depends on your personal preference. I'm just going to add 1 first. So I'm just going to give it a quick stir. Wow, you can see all the mushrooms here. And see, we cut the carrots really big, so they are still intact. If you cut them really, really tiny, they're just gonna get all mushy. You probably won't be able to find them at all. Okay, and then I'm going to just taste it a little bit and see if I want to add more salt. Wow, to me, wow, that little salt just brings out so much more flavor. It's like a savory umami flavor from the beef, from our vegetables, from our aromatic base. Remember, we sauteed them very quickly. That's the reason it makes a huge difference. Wow, it's just savory, meaty dish. I have to give it another taste. 1 teaspoon, to me, it's absolutely enough. So now, I don't know if you can see from the side camera, actually it's more like a liquid-ish. So it's also, again, depends on you. You know, if you want to enjoy it in a more slightly lighter-ish kind of a beef stew, I would just leave it as it, and then we're just gonna garnish with some scallion. But if you prefer something a little bit more thicker broth, so what you can do is scoop up the ingredients, the food, the meat, and then leave the liquid in there. And then turn the your Instant Pot to the sauté button again. And once it's hot, and then just add a few teaspoons of arrowroot powder or sweet potato powder. So they are both root vegetable starch that will help you actually thickening the liquid, okay? So, but I'm not gonna do that here because I prefer just, you know, serve it, do the bare minimum to enjoy the maximum flavor. So I'll be back and I'll show you the final presentation. So now, can you see from my side camera here? Oh my gosh, the beautiful beef. They're just like, you know, once you pick them up, they just fall apart. And with the beautiful mushrooms and then tender and juicy carrots. So I'm just going to pour some broth over it. Be careful, it's still a little bit hot. You know? You can eat this alone, or you know, pair it with your favorite, maybe your baked yam, baked Japanese sweet potato, it's possible. And or you know what, you can, if the broth, taste the broth, see if you want to, if it's too salty for you, you can dilute it with a little bit hot water and add some zucchini noodles, and it becomes an instant beef stew noodle soup. Or you know what, this is absolutely perfect, just eat it alone. And then I'm going to add a little my mom's touch, add a little green scallion. And what I did here a little bit differently is that you see I soak them in ice cube water, very, very cold water. So basically I diced them to 3 different long sections, and I slice them in long, thin shape. And once they are very thin and long shape, you shock them in ice cold water, they will curl up, and it's just a little bit cute and more pretty, like little scallion ribbons, right? And then I'm just gonna put it on top of it. Look at that! Immediately, it brightens your dish. It makes it even more enjoyable, not only to watch and also to eat. Okay, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm going to give another taste, sorry. Oh wow. You know, this dish, normally when my mom cooks, traditionally speaking, when she does it over stove top, it would take about 2 hours maybe, and usually we only enjoy this dish a day later, because after overnight, you know, you wanna reheat the soup again, and that's the time the meat will be really, really tender. But because of this high pressure cooker, the Instant Pot, we were able to enjoy it in under 40 minutes actually. So, oh, this is just so good. So if you want to download today's recipe, I will put a link right here and also down below, so you can download exact measurements. And if you also want to learn more about my I Heart Umami Paleo Cooking School, I have a mini online course that teaches you how to enjoy paleo food, make eating paleo fit into your life more easily, and give you more varieties and make cooking exciting again. So please visit iheartumami.com and I will send you more information about it. So thank you so much again for spending time here with me. I truly appreciate it. I hope you will give my mom's beef stew a try. It's truly, truly delicious. So I will see you here again next Thursday. Thanks so much. Bye.